is originally from Hobbycraft. I think it may have been a Christmas thing, just going by the red tree thing. But it's tea light holders, and originally I picked it up like that way round and thought that they had already been painted, but no, they're blank, which is a joy to behold. I don't have any ideas for them currently, but I'll think of something, don't you worry. So here they are, my final dessert themed houses. I'm really pleased with how these came out. I'm going to take them in the order that I did them because I feel like they progressed in complexity quite sharply. So the original idea with this one was I wanted to make something kind of in a style similar to Mariah Elizabeth, who does a lot of like dessert themed things, lots of like drips and cream dollops and stuff. But I wanted to keep it kind of witchy, or at least autumnal on theme. So I made this one as like a pumpkin spice latte theme. So it's got kind of like a blended orangey brown to lighter orange colour. It's got metallic brown window holes, except for, you know, where there are actually holes, with window like frames in white. And then I made this dollop out of air dry clay. It actually shrunk quite a lot. It was originally like over the edges here, and then it shrunk back as it dried, which was a bit annoying. And then I filled in the gap at the bottom with hot glue and did this sort of run with hot glue and then painted it over and stippled on the like cinnamon on top with some more metallic paint. And then obviously there's the back. I did originally glue little glass pebbles, ornamental glass pebbles over the windows, but then I thought once I'd put like the air dry clay and hot glue and stuff on it, you couldn't have a real candle in there anyway, so it was kind of wasted, so I popped those off. And so that was the first one. And then I had an idea for the second one. I mixed this very dark brown chocolate colour and painted this all in that. The little pink door, white window frames. This was my least favourite house because of the shape of the roof and these weird windows, but it came out nice. I made a much bigger dollop this time and then kept kind of pushing the inside as it dried so that it wouldn't shrink as much, which is why it's so much bigger. I didn't put hot glue around the bottom of this one to blend it on because it kind of overhung anyway, but I did use hot glue on the top for this raised chocolate drizzle, I made air dry clay and marshmallows and shaded the edges of those slightly so they would look a little bit toasted. And so it's like a hot chocolate themed house with the little marshmallows on top. I'm really pleased at how that turned out. And then obviously once I had those two, I had one house left. This was actually my favourite one. Ironically, because of all the windows, which quickly became a pain in the ass. But it was my favourite because it was sort of tall, it was more symmetrical looking, it was very cute. And I made the biggest dollop for this one out of most of the leftover air dry clay. And made a hole in it with this tube. This is actually the centre tube from a roll of dog poo bags. It's quite thick cardboard and I thought it would be perfect. So I painted that separately. And then the dollop, because of the angle of the roof, it sort of stopped here and there was this big gap. So I basically just built up a wall of hot glue by just adding a layer, waiting for it to harden, and then adding another layer underneath. Added some little drips to make it look cute. And then painted the whole of the hot glue over with some gesso and then painted it white. And then glued the tube in, put some hot glue around that, painted that as well, so it kind of looks like the cream that this sort of biscuit wafer has been stuck into. Dabbed the whole thing with a sponge dipped in dark brown paint. The body of it is just this really nice light brown colour, and then I added this dark chocolate drippy colour because it just looked a bit plain otherwise. Did all of the many windows in white with what has to be said, kind of a crappy paint pen. It's one of the like Uni brand, but it's oil based, it's white, and it's a pain in the ass because every time you like push the nib, a load of paint comes out. But if you don't push the nib, it dries out. So what I had to do is push the nib onto a plastic lid and then just dip it and then paint with the pen. Frustrating as hell. But I like the way that this came out. I like the height of it and the colour scheme that kind of ties them all together. These sort of shades of like brownish orange, brown, and then light brown. I love all the different toppings and stuff. And I love how like shiny all the dollops look and how finished it is. It was just finished with some layers of Mod Podge to get it like nice and shiny and all stuck together firmly. Because this dollop is like not coming off. It's held on with a lot of hot glue, and I did become more adventurous in my use of hot glue as I made these. So it started out with just like an experimental dribble, and then the whole topping of this one with the chocolate part, and then this one I just kind of went mad with it and just added as much as possible. But I do like them. I think they turned out really nice, perfect for like a fall decorations or Christmas even. Obviously you could do different types of hot drinks or ice creams or whatever depending on like the theme of your decor. As much as I love them, I don't know that I have room to keep them, so I might put these on Facebook Marketplace, but they were so much fun to make, and if I can make them with my like very limited craft skills, you know, it should be pretty easy for anyone to have a go. I used the Daz air dry clay, which is one I've used before, and it's really good. It hardens quite quickly and quite well and doesn't crack that much, so that's the one I would suggest using. You could use a polymer clay, I guess, for different things, but I've never used that before and it's more expensive, so I didn't give it a try. But there we go, those are the final ones, and for a set of little houses that cost me about £3, I'm really happy that I was able to get this effect out of them with just another £3 worth of air dry clay and some paint. So that's pretty cool. So if you decide to do something like this, or if you've already done something like this or know of someone else who has, drop me a link or tag me on Instagram at Witchfix Podcast because I'd love to have a look. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the next one.